The wind off the Clyde was cold that morning, even for late May. But the reception for the Prince and Princess of Wales at the BAE Systems shipyard in Scotsdown was anything but chilly. It was May 22, a date that might appear as just another royal engagement in the official court circular. Yet for those watching closely, it marked something far more significant than a simple ceremony. Because while HMS Glasgow received its formal naming that day, it was another woman who was being reintroduced, quietly, elegantly, but unmistakably, onto the stage of history. Princess Catherine, resplendent in a navy and white coat dress by British label Susanna London, stood before the hull of the Royal Navy's next-generation frigate. With her gloved hand she released a bottle of Scottish whisky against the steel, fulfilling a time-honoured naval tradition. The glass shattered. The ship was named. And a message was sent: she is back. Not just back in public. Not just back in duty. But back in the story and, perhaps, on her way to its centre. Catherine had been named sponsor of HMS Glasgow in 2021, but this was her first major naval appearance since her recent recovery from a serious, unspecified form of cancer. Her smile was sincere, but measured. Her posture spoke of both fragility and fortitude. And yet, in her mere presence, standing tall beside her husband, engaging with shipbuilders and naval officers, there was something unmistakable. A signal of restored strength. This wasn't just a ceremony. It was a coronation in disguise. And it's part of a larger strategy. Because while King Charles continues to navigate both public duties and private treatment, it is William and Catherine who are, increasingly, writing the next chapter of the monarchy. And they're doing it not with fanfare, but with precision. Only a day before, the couple had been in Leith, Edinburgh's historic port district. There, Prince William met with volunteers, community organisers, and participants of the Leith United Coalition, a new initiative funded in part by the Royal Foundation. The project isn't just about sport. It's about social repair. Football pitches doubling as trauma centres. Coaching sessions transforming into second chances. The goal? To confront homelessness, addiction, and disconnection at the root by rebuilding lives from the ground up. Leith is no royal parade ground. It's raw. It's real. And that's exactly why William chose it. Those close to the prince say these visits are not window dressing. They're reconnaissance. He listens. He asks questions. He returns to the palace with names, with stories, with handwritten notes. And he uses those stories to direct funds, to build new partnerships, and to measure whether the Royal Foundation is doing what it promises, creating long-term, measurable impact. The shift in approach is deliberate. In private, William has expressed frustration with the smile and wave school of royal engagement. He wants to build something that lasts. Something that can't be torn down by scandal, by cynicism, or by politics. And Catherine shares that vision. Behind closed doors, she's been instrumental in the Foundation's mental health and early childhood work. Her early years initiative is now being integrated with community centres across the UK. The Leith model isn't a one-off. It's a prototype. Belfast, Birmingham, Liverpool, these are next. Each with tailored partnerships. Each with Catherine's quiet input in the background. This is the monarchy as infrastructure. Not just theatre. And it's happening for a reason. Because while William and Catherine are expanding their reach, King Charles is facing limits, most imposed by circumstance, some by design. Diagnosed with cancer in early 2024, Charles took a 3-month pause from royal duties. His return in April was cautious but intentional. A few selected garden parties. Carefully curated photo ops. Soft, reassuring language from the palace. Still, whispers continue. What type of cancer? How advanced? How aggressive? The palace remains silent. But royal aides admit, off the record, that contingency planning has accelerated. Succession is no longer a distant hypothetical. It's a living file. And in that file, William is emerging not just as heir but as executor. One senior courtier put it plainly, Charles is still king. But William is already planning the reign. Amid all this, Catherine's return takes on new gravity. Her illness, kept out of the public eye for months, drew unprecedented sympathy when finally revealed. The public response was swift and overwhelmingly warm. The woman once known for her silence had now become, in the eyes of many, a symbol of private strength. Her reappearance at the recent garden party at Buckingham Palace was, in some ways, even more revealing than the shipyard visit. She wore a familiar pair of diamond drop earrings last seen before her illness. The earrings were a gift from her parents, reportedly inspired by the Cartier halo tiara she wore on her wedding day. The symbolism was clear. This wasn't just an accessory. It was an inheritance. During the event, Catherine was photographed embracing members of the public. One image in particular, a tender hug shared with Holocaust survivor Stephen Frank, went viral. Online, royal fans dubbed her the Princess of Hugs, and not without irony. The nickname was a quiet rebuttal to Meghan Markle's 2022 interview, in which she described William and Catherine as not natural huggers. The moment, though gentle, spoke volumes. Catherine wasn't just offering warmth. She was rewriting a narrative. Meanwhile, in California, Prince Harry and Meghan continue their life on the outside. Their public projects, books, documentaries, brand collaborations now exist in an increasingly separate universe from the House of Windsor. Yet the lines between the two worlds are never entirely erased. Earlier this month, Harry and Meghan hosted Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz for dinner at their Montecito home. The invitation was widely interpreted as a subtle power move, particularly given David Beckham's recent show of royal loyalty during a public exchange with King Charles. The moment occurred at Canada House. The king, recovering but smiling, turned to Beckham and asked, "You got it, didn't you?" Beckham laughed, nodded, and thanked him. The nature of the gift remains undisclosed. But the message was unmistakable. Beckham is in the fold. Harry is not. It was a quiet, public signal. And for Harry, once Charles's closest emotional confidant, it must have felt like confirmation of what's already true. The door remains open, but the welcome mat is gone. Within palace walls, the mood is increasingly future-oriented. Discussions about restructuring the royal household have intensified. William is reportedly leading efforts to redefine working royal roles, with a focus on efficiency and clarity. Titles are under review. Protocols are being rewritten. And one idea gaining traction, that future royals must prove measurable public value in order to retain Her Royal Highness status. It is, in essence, a shift from inherited presence to earned relevance. And it reflects William's broader vision, a monarchy that survives not by tradition alone, but by action. Some courtiers have quietly described the shift as a second Elizabethan recalibration. In the 1950s, Queen Elizabeth II reshaped the monarchy for a post-war world. Now, William and Catherine are preparing to reshape it for a post-digital one. The ship naming ceremony in Glasgow may have lasted only minutes. But its symbolism will last much longer. HMS Glasgow will serve the Royal Navy for decades. It's a ship built for defense, for projection of power, for presence. Catherine, standing at its bow, christening it with whiskey and resolve, offered the same. And the monarchy, like the vessel, sails forward into uncertain waters. But this time, with new hands at the helm. In our next report, we'll explore how William's relationship with Commonwealth leaders is shaping plans for a rebalanced royal presence abroad, and why the next major royal tour may include a dramatic symbolic gesture that hasn't been attempted in generations. The transition is here. But what's coming next could reshape the monarchy forever.